Hello, hello, hello. Excuse me, just finishing up a little quick snack. It's October 29th, 2019. Welcome to the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream. We do this every Tuesday night. We do the amateur radio Farmers and Gardeners Net via amateur radio. And then sometimes we talk in the last half of the stream on the live chat. We'll see if anybody checks in tonight. I'm a little scattered, so hope you'll excuse me if I'm not paying as much attention as I should be. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Or Chris and Darlene, I assume it's probably both of you. Hey, Geeky. Uh-oh, do I have audio? I don't think I have audio. Why don't I have audio? Alright, give me a minute. Testing, 1, 2. Testing. Okay, I guess I did have audio. I wasn't getting anything on the VU. I'm a little tired. It's been kind of rainy and cloudy and fall weather. It's getting dark early. Winter depression is setting in, but everything's going all right overall. Let me start with the net here. This is KD2 and Net Control, so that's Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. That's the Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. It's an amateur radio net sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, located in Ulster County, New York. This net is basically about farming and gardening, obviously, and topics pertaining and relating to such. That said, if you have emergency traffic, don't be afraid to throw your call out. We'll be glad to prioritize emergency traffic. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started with the net. This is KD2 and Net Control. Looking for check-ins. Buffering? Uh-oh. Yeah, it closed and came back up. You're tired too, Chris? Maybe it's in the air.
Here's K2BHM.
The net recognizes K2BHM. How are you tonight, Jim?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm alright overall. A little tired. A little sick of cloudy, rainy weather. And not liking the less and less light every day. But other than that, I'm okay.
Okay, I think you kind of summarized my feelings, so...
Yeah, we're getting some similar comments on the live stream as well. I said it must be in the air.
Yeah, the damn cold breeze.
It is. Actually, it hasn't been all that cold, but the dampness is getting old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that time of year when you start shutting things down and backing things up for the winter and so forth, and it's kind of a little depressing, disheartening, the end of the season. And you know what's coming.
Yep. It's it's an adjustment. I mean, there's the other aspect too. It's the inside, cozy, play with electronics, be near the fire. There's lots of other positive things to it too. But yeah, for sure, it's depressing when you go out to do something and it's already dark out. It's like, oh yeah, and it's going to be dark for another 14 hours.
Yeah, well, I used to work up in Albany, and I did 10-hour days. So 10-hour days plus an hour commute each way was 12 hours. So you left in pitch black and came home in pitch black. And it was kind of disheartening. But now I got what little light there is during the middle of the day to do what I want to do.
I don't have. Oh yeah, I do have time next to the chat. Very cool. Yeah, I hear you. Um, well, it all depends on how your schedule works. I don't. I'm up quite late in the greenhouse doing stuff, so you can't be up all night and up all day as well. So I end up working half of the day. And this time of year, when it swings back the other way, it's very noticeable for me. I'm also used to working at night, and I don't mind it, but it's a whole different perspective for sure.
So I would have thought that working greenhouse and stuff like that, you would have taken advantage of the daylight to see what you're doing. What do you do at night in the day house, or the greenhouse? Do you have grow lights and stuff like that up there to keep the plants active?
I do have a few floros up. One is like a starter type grow light. No heavy duty grow lighting in there as of yet. It is in the plans eventually, but about 14 other projects have to happen in succession prior to that, so that's on hold indefinitely. I keep the greenhouse stoked up, and I do all the Raspberry Pi related stuff in there at night because it's something I can be inside and cozy and work on and have light for. So it just kind of goes with it. And then the big thing is, once it starts to get cold out, I got to keep the wood stove stoked up. So I'm in there stoking anyway, so I might as well be taking advantage of being around that stove and working next to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I like the timestamp. That's cool.
Since you have to maintain the environment, you might as well go and use it for other advantages too. So, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's funny. Before I built the greenhouse, I had visions of spending time in the greenhouse in the daytime and really enjoying that, especially in the winter. And I do get some time to do that, but not as much as I had originally hoped, because I end up being up stoking all night, and obviously I'm not just going to stay up indefinitely.
Yeah, okay. So, let's take a good amount of wood. You don't have something big enough that you can throttle it and let it last for the night? You have to keep after it?
Well, the answer to that question is actually going to be answered this winter because I have a new wood stove in there and it's a beast. I think that is going to cover it pretty well. But I do have to say, on the really cold nights, man, it's not like heating a house. I mean, you have no insulation. You have 6 millimeters of plastic between you and whatever the outside temperature is, and so it's not a lot of buffer. So it does take a lot of wood, but now with the tractor, that makes that so much easier. That is such an efficiency gain. And I'm working on some new upgrades to improve the firewood stream and firewood quality into it, as well as expand the greenhouse space a bit. So we're headed in a good direction, I think.
Okay, so the greenhouse is effectively single pane glass. You didn't do thermal panes, 2 layers.
No, it's not glass, it's plastic. It's greenhouse grade plastic, but it's plastic, 6 mil.
Yeah. Don't some of them do double layers and get an airspace trapped?
I did eventually add a second layer and do a trapped airspace, but that has collapsed over time. And I didn't find it made a tremendous difference in heating. I found the real thing was the thermal mass and a stove that could keep up when you needed to ramp up against, the real problem comes when you get 20-mile-an-hour winds and it's, 0 degrees out. That's when it's like, it doesn't matter, how much insulation you have, you gotta pour the heat to it.
Oh yeah, because the slightest little leak and you get some air transfer and so forth, your heat's going. That get a good snowstorm and put a little bit of ice cold snow right on top of the plastic too, and that's going to be a tremendous heat loss.
Yeah, during a snowstorm with the old stove, even with the old stove running, you could go outside and watch steam come off the outside of the greenhouse from the snow melting off and the heat that's being transferred through. So yeah, tremendous loss. But actually, the snowstorms, they do take some of the heat from the greenhouse, but they actually really tighten it up nice against the wind because it seals everything really well with that snow blanket.
Okay. Mixed blessings. Interesting. KD2IIN, K2BHM.
Yeah, and also, of course, it provides an insulation layer. You now have, with snow, like, 28 degrees maybe, 30 degrees, 32 degrees, something like that, outside, instead of whatever, if it's 10 degrees out, you have snow that's insulating you from that a bit. So, yeah, helpful. Let's stop and see if there's any check-ins. This is KD2IIN at Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If any further check-ins, please call now.
K2LD here, in and out because I'm already way far away. How you doing, CJ? How you doing, Jim?
Hey, Bob, good to hear you. I'm sorry, we should have made a break in there quicker. Glad to hear you.
Yeah, I'm already on the outskirts here, so I'll just listen out. Just keep it going.
Alright, sounds good, Bob. Well, we got you in the log here, and thanks for the check-in. Hope things are well with you and you have a safe trip home. And I'll put it back over to BHM to say hello quick.
Hi, Bob. Bye, Bob. I guess you're officially Bob number 1 this night. Let's see if we get any other Bobs in there. Hope everything's doing well your way.
I'll bet they do show up if you refresh it, Geeky.
Everything's doing great. Thank you. Yeah, we gotta catch up one of these days. I've been talking to you. Yeah, I was thinking about you. I did a project yesterday for my cousin, made him some washers. The outside was 3 inch by 3 inch, and the hole was in the 16th, and they were on a 1/4 inch steel plate.
That's all I could think of. If you mean on YouTube. Otherwise, MT, as far as I know, is Mount or Mountain.
Part of that, but I think the whole thing. I'm already in there. We'll just try to get everything. I'll just listen out. Okay, sounds good. Have a good evening, Bob.
Alright, Bob. Well, thanks for the check-in, and let's just see if there's any other check-ins. This is KD2IIN at Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Any further check-ins, call now. No further check-ins recognized. Back to you, Jim.
Okay, you and me against the world. Yeah, my cousin stopped by yesterday. He's trying to put a 30-foot mast up to put his TV antennas on and stuff like that and so forth, the weather station and whatever. And so he's got a concrete footing in the ground that's got 1 inch lag bolts, or not lag bolts, but anchor bolts coming out of it. And so he's coming up with an arrangement for doing a tilt over. And so as part of the project, I made him some washers yesterday. 3 inch square pieces of a 1/4 inch boilerplate with 1 1/16 holes in them. Washers. There you go.
Okay, interesting. Cool. Well, that sounds like a cool project.
Well, he's got a piece of 1 inch thick steel plate he's going to use as a base plate. And then he's going to come up with some kind of a hinge or something and mount the mast to it. It's a 30-foot steel light pole. And So he's making the holes a little bit oversized because the anchor bolts coming out of the concrete shifted a little bit. So 1.25" holes with a 1-inch anchor bolt. I figured I'd make him some washers and give him some good surface areas so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, because a 30-foot steel mast, that's a pretty significant piece of steel.
Yeah, it should definitely stand up to a TV antenna, no problem.
I would think. Yeah, I wish I could build everything in concrete and steel, but that's a little more expensive than local available materials.
Yeah, well, let me get the mast up. If you want to stick an antenna on it and put a repeater up in on top of a hill a little bit south of Clarksville, I got a good in for you.
Oh, I wish I had time to play with that sort of thing.
Yeah, he's up there. He's on top of a hill, and it's so windy that every other year or so it rips the shingles and the ridge vent off of his house.
You can't handle the truth. Oh, wow. Yeah, I would definitely make that a robust anchor for sure.
Yeah,
don't feed them, Chris. Don't feed the
definitely
trolls.
Looking at that, saying, "I got to make this strong." I have never seen ridge vent, aluminum ridge vent, ripped off and folded over. Ripped the nails right through it.
No, I've never seen that either. We did have some massive hunks of metal on dormers and stuff come off the roof of the barn. I think it was 2 winters ago. We had some wicked winds and it tore them right off. I remember hearing it, the one piece go and go, what was that? And the next day I found it and I was like, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's up there pretty high. A little bit higher than him is an AT&T microwave tower with all those corner reflectors up there and stuff like that.
Oh, great. An ocean of RF.
Yeah, it's about, I don't know, half, 3/4 of a mile away from him.
Ugh. No thanks.
Yeah, but that's all directed in gigahertz range, so
yeah, gigahertz range, exactly.
They've got the corner reflectors where the actual feed is facing vertical, and then you've got a curved to beam it out to the next tower horizontally. So it's very tight.
Yeah, but you and I both know it's not all going in one direction, and the sun that's coming in your direction heats tissue, and those are very high frequencies. I don't know, I just wouldn't want my house anywhere near it, nor high tension power lines.
Yeah, well, he's far enough away that, and none of them are pointing his direction. They're all going north-south, and this is west of him, so I think he's so far off the beam path that I don't think he's really got anything to worry about.
Gotcha. Well, sounds like a cool project. Yeah, don't forget ugly, Chris. I mean, good lord.
Yeah,
if we're
but he's not a radio amateur, so he's only looking for TV pictures to come down.
Okay.
He's not willing to pay Spectrum $100 a month for something he can get off the air for free.
Yeah.
If I could get it off the air for free down here, they'd be off my list too.
Could just turn it off.
You're not married, are you?
Nope. Yep. That's a good point, Chris.
Yeah, I had to.
Hey, Robin. How you
Never
doing
mind.
tonight? Yeah, I'm not going to reach out and incriminate you.
Yeah, if I could get channel 6, 10, and 13 out of Albany down here, Spectrum would be history as far as TV is concerned. There's not a heck of a lot else on.
No, that's what I was going to say. I just don't find anything on TV interesting in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I don't know why anyone would pay for it. But I guess there's people out there who enjoy it. And if that's their thing, by all means, go for it. Waste your life if you like.
Well, my pet peeve is I have zero interest in sports. I was always the last kid picked in
I'm good, Robin.
school for anything, and that was only because they had to take me because the nuns didn't want me left behind, and they had to watch me and so forth. And so nowadays, any idiot in the world touches the ball in the big game, and they give him a blank check and raise our cable rates to cover it.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir there. I'm not a fan of watching sports at all. I'm not even a fan of playing well sports, but I certainly am not going to sit and watch someone else play sports. That just seems like about the most boring thing in the world to me.
Yeah, exactly. Zero interest. And, like, okay, fine. You want to pay some idiot $500 million for a contract for some football team and charge $5,000 for a seat to watch him in the big game. Fine, go ahead. I can sit home. But don't tell me in order to watch the 6 o'clock news, I got to pay $50 a week to cover his paycheck.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I don't really want to watch the 6 o'clock news either, so that's why I just, I turn it off and never turn it on again. And wow, has my life been better? Yeah, I didn't figure you were, Chris.
Well, the difference is that most of the other things around here, cable and so forth, satellite, whatever, local stations are 2, 4, and 7 out of New York City. And you listen to the news there, and it's just, they're reading off lists of how many rapes and murders and muggings and thefts and car accidents and fires and stuff like that. Whereas you start looking at the news out of Albany, and you get some more special interest stories. You get some interesting stories about what the politicians are doing and things to watch out for and stuff like that. It's more interesting, not just lists.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's all just, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, there's no point in focusing on all that negative stuff when I can go out and do something positive, Big or small, at least it's positive.
Well, I didn't get to the best part, the weather reports.
I
You can go and look at the weather report and then see what actually happens and have yourself a great laugh.
Right, exactly. I don't watch any TV related weather, but even when I check the weather on the computer, if they say it's going to rain, I confirm that on radar. Show me the radar image.
Yeah, touche. Sometimes that doesn't work too well either because the radar image looks clear and it's pouring down here.
I've seen that too. Well, so that's when I break out the other atmospheric tools. Ventue Sky, I go to Google Earth, I go to, start piecing it together and basically create my own forecast. What's it actually going to do? Yeah,
that makes sense. Leave a little break in case somebody wants to break in.
Yeah, we'll just do one last opportunity for check-ins here before we close it down. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. For further check-ins, please call now. No further check-ins recognized at this time.
Wow, I guess we're not going to have 6 Bobs this night.
No, that was the Thursday net. This net doesn't get that much traffic. Yeah, same here.
Yeah, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry was named Bob the other night. it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
It's a good bunch of guys on this group that have a good sense of humor and get along good together. I enjoy it.
Yeah, we got a nice community here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, me too, Chris.
And it's fun getting together, like with the field days. I'm not really into getting on HF and trying to make contacts and fighting with everybody else and so forth and so on. But I enjoy going up there, helping the guys get the stuff set up, do what I can do with my back and so forth, getting pictures and so forth, and just hanging out with the guys.
Yep. Yeah, they're pretty good events. I haven't had the time to make them in quite a while, but I gotta get to another one of these days soon. Show me the radar.
Yeah, I'd love to get to that when they're doing Rhinebeck in September, but it coincides with when we have our timeshare in St. Martin, so I always miss it.
Oh yeah, I know. That's a busy time of year for me too. And then end of June is always crazy busy too for the field day. And I actually briefly made the winter field day this year, but only briefly. But that also was a tough time of year for me. It's just hard to get away for it. I want to be able to like focus my attention on it if I'm going to go do it, and really be in it and enjoy it. KD2I.
KQBHM for ID. Yeah, I would too, but with my medical problems and issues and stuff like that, there's only so much I can do, and I can't stay overnight. The cold would rip my sinuses out, and don't have the CPAP machine and all kinds of stuff like that and so forth. But I get there during the day and help the guys as much as I can and take pictures and help out and whatever, and it's good, it's fun. It's good to be a part of it in the support aspect.
I hear that. Well, very good. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this portion of the net out and carry on and finish out the live stream. I got some more stuff I got to take care of in the greenhouse tonight. So thanks for supporting the net. I greatly appreciate it, Jim. Do you have any final comments for the net?
Basically, just enjoyed the QSO, and thanks for doing it and being there. We didn't do much talking about gardening tonight, but that's my fault because I'm not a gardener, so you were there ready. I just wasn't the good subject. But sorry about that, but still enjoyed it anyway. Thank you very much, KWBHM.
Yeah, that's all right. That's not your fault. That's just lack of participants who are interested in gardening and gardening or farming. And that's just the nature of this time of year. Anyway, I appreciate it, and I'm going to go ahead and close the net out. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. This has been a session of the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net, sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, located in beautiful Ulster County, New York. You can always catch the replay on the Pharmacy Seeds Network YouTube channel live stream. What else? Let's see. Other nets. We have another net on this frequency that is at 8 p.m. on Thursdays and usually run by K2JLV. That is an excellent net with lots of participants, lots of interesting topics, usually pertaining to radio or electronics of some sort. I should definitely check that out if you haven't. And if you want to know more about our club, you can visit our website at www.omartclub.org. That's whiskey Mike Alpha Romeo Charlie Lima Uniform Bravo Oscar Romeo Golf. Thanks to all those who participated. This net is closed and the frequency is back under regular amateur use. Thanks to all those who participated. This is K2IIN saying 7-3. Inviting you to join us again next week. The net is closed and I am clear.
Hey, CJ, K2BHM Clearfield.
Now what's all this name calling for you guys on, Chris? Distinguished. Trying to make a cop mad normally backfires. Yeah, the only time you want to make a cop mad is in court, but never on the street. Dress blues, okay. Huh. Crackerjack uniforms, eh? So what else is going on, everybody? What are we all doing? Sorry, I'm a little out of it. Alphas. So I wasn't in the military, so I don't know any of these uniforms, really. Distracted. I am distracted, Robin. I'm going in so many directions, I don't know what direction to go in. Which means I'm not going in any direction. I don't know, I'm a little tired. It's been rainy and cool and cloudy. Fall messes me up. It takes me a while to kind of get my rhythm back. Nothing really wrong. No, just tired, cold, making progress on stuff. Just blah. I want to see some sunshine. I'm depressed because I haven't seen sunshine in like 4 or 5 days, really, to speak of. A bit peaked. You mean like angry or like just tired? I'm just tired. I only got 6 hours sleep last night, so I'm a little tired. And then I was in the greenhouse for a while, and being by that warm stove just makes you want to curl up and go to bed. So, and I debated on whether or not I should have another cup of coffee, but I already had one like an hour and a half ago, so I decided not to for now. So I'm drinking water. I don't know, maybe I should go out in that ice cold pool and take a cold shock dip. That'll wake me up. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Exactly what it is. I find if I don't get exposed to sunshine in pretty massive amounts, you know, at least once a week, preferably like every 2 or 3 days, I just out of sorts. Okay, got you, Geeky. Yeah, if I don't get sun like every 2 or 3 days, I kind of I don't know, I don't have as much energy as I'd like to, and I get a little depressed, and my life isn't quite as screwy as it was when I was younger, so I don't get into those super negative loops anymore. But, you know, you get kind of in a rut. But having the greenhouse helps that tremendously, just being able to go out there and there's green plants and it's warm, and I keep some of those floral lights on in there sometimes, and so it's warm and bright and green. That helps a lot. Oh, definitely vitamin D, Chris. I mean, I in the summertime I make sure I get, you know, as much sunlight exposure as I can, and I don't wear any sunblocks or any of that. I mean, I'm Doc. And you probably can't see that very well in the light, but, you know, yeah, it makes a huge difference. And actually, if you look into the science of it, vitamin D affects how your body works with calcium, which affects how your body works with magnesium. There's a whole chain of other biological processes that hinge off of vitamin D. And if you're deficient, nothing's happening correctly. And vitamin D is both a vitamin and a hormone. Cholecalciferol. Look it up. It's really interesting science. I could actually probably go on about that all day. In fact, if you're really interested in that, I got a great podcast for you. So I'll share the link on that. Right on point. The supplements don't absorb the same way as the way it's metabolized from your skin, Chris. The supplements can help. It definitely helps. But it's not the same as sunlight exposure. There's some really interesting new science coming out on that, and we haven't come to full conclusions out of it, but so far the research is pointing to it's important that it comes from sunlight exposure rather than supplements. Yeah, going professor on you. I know. See what happens when you say you look peaked? I get tired with it. I'll wear you out. Yeah, actually, I used to go do tanning bed, like, well, for a while I did it every week, but then I didn't have the money for it, so I went like once a month just to like boost my vitamin D. That helped tremendously, but the place that I went to that was fairly close by and fairly inexpensive closed down, and grow light's not the same. You really need UV, specifically UVB, and the tanning bed does work well actually. So anyway, so the place closed down, so I haven't been going there for the last couple winters, which sucks. But I was talking to my friend John, and he knows another place that's close by that is inexpensive, and he said he has the same thing I have, the same seasonal affective disorder kind of thing and all. So we're gonna go together, I think. So that'll be cool. Be a chance to hang out with him, catch up with him. Supplement my lack of sunlight. Yeah, the intensity, like I used to go to the highest intensity tanning bed they had, and they have a max limit. You're only allowed maximum 15 minutes, and I would go all 15 minutes, and no sunblockers, and I don't come out burned. I always have a base tan going in though, so. Oh, they're cheap down there? Yeah, well, you guys have a little longer sun season too. Like by this time of year, like my last day out, I was able to actually lay out and catch a little sun was the 23rd, and that's late for up here. Usually it would be like the end of September would be the last opportunity. Skin cancer from the world's most famous beach. Too much time on the beach, huh? Oh, the whole bed new? with bulbs is $200 or $300, like to buy. Oh, I'd love to have one of those in the greenhouse. Oh, on a wood gasifier generator. Oh, that'd be awesome. That's a question for you, Chris. Have you ever built a wood gasifier or seen one in operation? Used bed, new bulbs. No kidding. Yeah, that's not that bad, actually. Actually, I have a friend who's got one at his place over in Woodstock. He offered for me to use it. But it's a long drive. Like for me, that's way out of my drive range. It's like 40 minutes to his place each way. And if I go, more than 5 miles, it's a lot. I'm like you, Chris. I don't go anywhere. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else about. Yeah, wood gasifiers. Yeah, I've seen all of his gasifier videos. I saw that, Kiki. That's one of the big ones that really inspired me. I want to get back to my wood gasifier projects and put some generators online on wood gas. You bought Darlene one, you'd have to give to get rid of it? I'm not sure I understand, Chris. A tanning bed? Oh. You'd have to give it away. I got you. I got you. Took me a minute. Well, the problem with the tanning bed is they're so damn bulky. That's a lot of floor space to take up for something you're going to use. I would use it every day if I had one. Maybe every day. Maybe every other day. Probably every day, actually. But most people wouldn't, So you got this tanning bed that you use once a month, taking up, you could have a pool table in that space. I'd way rather have the tanning bed, even though I love playing pool. A $200 coat rack. Yeah. $200 table. A $200 table you can't put anything on. Yeah, I actually have high spectrum lights, Robin. And I also run a lot of 2700K stuff. Well, I did when I did more supplemental lighting, but I do less supplemental lighting now with the greenhouse. But that's part of why I got to get back to the wood gasifier, so I can put all my supplemental lighting online and power it through a sustainable fuel source. Top's round, right. Exactly, a table you can't put anything on. It's even more useless than just a table. I'm trying to think. I've had a few things like that. They weren't tanning beds, but same kind of thing. Just took up a shit ton of space and didn't do frick all. And I thought it was something that was going to be cool, and I just never did anything with it. I forget what they were. There were a couple things like that. Used it once, right. Yeah, that happens. Oh, I'm not in a bad mood, Robin. I'm just tired, that's all. It takes a lot to wipe out my sense of humor. I gotta be pretty PO'd to not be able to laugh. And usually at that point I'm yelling and screaming, which means it'll be over in 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes you just gotta vent off, Massage chair the same way. Yeah. I've sat in those once or twice, and they're pretty cool. But they take up a tremendous amount of space too. At least you could stick your laundry on them or something. What else could you do with that? You could put a box with different layers of screens. You could search seed on it or something with the vibrator part, I guess. Don't mind me. Had to have a honey snack. 4 to 6 hours. Good Lord, Robin. Is that because of your conditions? You don't get good rest, huh? That's hard on you. Not that I need to tell you that. Yeah, no, I don't want one of those chairs, Chris. If you were closer, I'd take the tanning bed in a heartbeat. I'd find a way to make that work. I'd build a freaking woodshed for it or something. I know, Chris. Find me that Southern Belle and pack her into the tanning bed, and we'll just get some freight shipping. You can ship the whole package to me. Chronic insomnia, okay. I don't have that, but I have a really screwy sleep pattern where there's nights I'll just stay up working, like literally all night. And in fact, it seems to happen more on the days that I get up earlier. Like Thursdays are weird for me. Thursday I'll get up relatively early for me, and I'll be up all day, work my regular job, work the extra job, come home, work on the greenhouse stuff, and then go back out and work on other stuff. And before I know it, it's like 6 in the morning the next morning. I don't know, I'm weird. Were you, Chris? Well, see, that way she'll be tan when she gets here. She'll match me. We'll have a tanning bed. I don't know, I'm trying to think what else you can ship out while you're at it. I mean, maybe we should just take a whole 53-foot trailer and... Let's see, I'll take a tanning bed, a Southern Belle, some sweet potatoes, Nightmares screw you up. I don't have too many of those, but once in a while I have a wicked one. That definitely, like when I wake up really disturbed from a dream, yeah, it's hard to go back to sleep from that. Or Dad, well, I'm hoping not. That you are going to put food and water in for her, right? I mean, none of that weird stuff. We're chaining her down to the bed or nothing. Like, give her some room to run around the crate. Yeah, let her know she's going to be loved when she gets to the other end. Give her a reason to live. This conversation always ends up here. Why do I keep bringing this up? I guess yeah, I don't remember too many dreams either, Geeky. But I have a suspicion why I might not remember as many dreams as I might normally. But I'm not going to talk about that here. Yeah, when I go to sleep, I sleep well. I'm out. But the schedule is very strange. It shifts all over the place. It really just depends on what's going on here on the farm and how much energy I have. It's like, okay, can I push and get this project done? Yes. Am I going to be wiped out a little tomorrow? Yes. Can I accept that? Yes. Okay, go. Oh, no REM sleep. Oh, that's not good. That's part of that healing sleep. That's like the healing and repairing. deep part of sleep that you're missing. That's not good, especially combined with I think you have some sort of chronic disability, right? I think you have bad vision and also mobility issues. Is that right? I don't remember exactly what your disability is, but I'm sorry to hear that, Robin. Have you tried? Well, I imagine you've tried all sorts of stuff. Yup to all. Yeah, I thought so. Wow. Well, that's why I thank God every day for my health. I'm glad to be overall healthy. Yeah, I hear you, geeky. I've been like that for a long time. That constant shifting schedule, shifting around. But when I sleep well. So yeah, you manage just fine, Robin. I just wish you could get better sleep. That would probably help you get through some of those other issues a little easier. But if you can't, you can't. I don't know what to suggest for you. Have you tried CBD? CBD oil? To help you get that deep rest? If you have it, that might be something you should look into. Chris has got 25 acres going over there. Swing shifts. Oh, I never did that. I never would do that. I wouldn't even try it. There's a really good pay on a lot of that stuff, but man, those swing shifts aren't just crazy swings and hours. They're also really long shifts with really tiring work or like repetitive stuff usually. I know a guy that worked in a paper plant, and he was talking about, they're working like 12-hour days. You're on like 14 days straight, and then you get one day off, and then you're on 14 again or something. Like, it was some crazy schedule. Like, it's like, how do you even like do laundry or take a poop? Like, like you just don't have the money. Okay, I hear that. Push that envelope with this. Did you take it for any period of time, Chris, or did you try a short stint of it? Because it tends to work, has much better efficacy when taken for periods of time and ramped up slowly. So, like, if you're taking like 10 milligrams, twice a day for a couple of weeks, and then go up to 20, and then to 30, and then to 40, and then to 50, you kind of scale up, and you have to take it for a long period of time to get really good effects out of it. About a month, okay. So that's not a super long time in the scheme of it, but that's a reasonable amount of time. What were you trying to cure with it? Pain or sleep or what? Work backwards on you? Yeah, I agree with you, Geeky, and actually there's some research coming out suggesting that already, that the THC is a necessary part of it. I mean, if you look at the cannabis profile, the cannabinoid profile, and you look at the different strains that carry different medicinal benefits and how the strains and the flavors and the terpenes all line up, you can see that there isn't just one simple CBD solution for it. There's lots of other compounds. And I think if you're isolating just one compound, you're right back to, pharmaceuticals. Like, just take an aspirin then. But that's that chemical, reduce it to one thing mentality. If you're not working in the human body system as a whole, and then working with systemic medicine, you really don't understand the model you're working with if you're trying to work with natural medicines. So I think it's a lot more complex than just CBD. And I agree. I think the THC helps tremendously. I know people who use THC that has CBD in it, and they notice much better effects, and they've tried straight CBD with lesser effects. So some anecdotal evidence, but nonetheless. A temper problem? Oh. Yeah, that's a hard one to manage, Chris. You might want to add some THC, actually, to manage that, believe it or not. I used to have a huge temper problem when I was younger. It made it worse. Have you looked at diet in regards to that, Chris? Are you familiar with the effects of wheat on the brain and gluten on the brain? You might find it's more diet related than you think. I find if I'm eating a lot of carbs and pastas and breads and processed foods, my temper is way, way, way shorter than if I'm eating healthy. I mean, way shorter. Like I'll get angry over the dumbest things, and then later on I'll be like, why did I get pissed over that? That was stupid. You know? Whereas when I'm eating healthy, it's like, you know, like, oh, you kicked me in the foot. Well, that wasn't nice. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the whole thing is like, you go to a party, right? And you watch the drinkers and you watch the smokers. The drinkers in an hour are rowdy and looking to break something or get in a fight. And the smokers are all sitting in a circle, laughing and talking. Like, how hard is the math on that? Overproducing adrenaline and testosterone. Huh. Well, I don't know much about that other than that's part of the hormone system, and that is a very delicate system. I'd be looking as to why you're overproducing adrenaline and testosterone. There's a balance issue there. But what's behind it, I couldn't begin to venture a guess. Yeah, some of those landrace strains are good for that, Geeky. I know there's one out in Kansas that grows everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe hormone therapy, or at least have your hormones checked. But you want to pick a really good doctor who knows what he's doing for that. Because otherwise, if he gets you on the wrong stuff, you're just going to steer you downhill fast. Right. Right. Exactly. Hormones are so delicate. It takes so little, such a small amount. So get this, in the lines of hormones, if you took all of the men on the planet and condensed all of their hormones into one little pile, you'd have about 7 pounds. That's every man on the planet. Now if you took every woman on the planet and you condensed all their hormones into a pile, you'd have about 0.7 pounds. So think about how much more sensitive, that's part of why women are so much more sensitive to hormone issues, because it takes so much less to change, you know, biological things in their bodies based on the hormones. Roid rages, oh wow. Yeah, they're very complicated systems. Oh, that sucks, Chris. Yeah, man, that anger. Oh. Are you just under too much pressure, maybe? I mean, that can be a huge part of it. I mean, I know it sounds like a really simple answer, but I know when I'm under too much pressure, I get very testy very quick. Huh. Interesting. I don't know what to tell you, Chris, but keep searching for answers, for sure. Overproducing adrenaline and testosterone. You know what might help you, Chris? Shit, I just realized. You know what might help you? Are you familiar with pine pollen? Stress makes it a lot worse. Yeah. Yeah, well, because you're already running a short fuse, and then when you get stress, the fuse is shorter. Hormone blockers for cancer. Oh, God. Man. Anyway, pine pollen. You might check into pine pollen, Chris. It's expensive, but it's an androgenic compound, and it's especially good. It's high in vitamins A, B, C, and D, among other terpenes and polyphenols. But the big thing is it's an androgen regulator. In other words, it regulates either upward or downward, depending on what your body needs. It regulates testosterone. So that might be something to look into. It's just a pine pollen supplement. Actually, it tastes pretty good if you take it as just powder, but you could get it in capsules or whatever. Well, yeah, that repeated stress on your circulatory system isn't good. Yeah, when I got laid off from my last job, my stress level dropped through the floor, and I didn't realize how stressed I was at that job until after I got laid off. Really, like a year and a half later, I kind of went, whoa, wow, I was that far from an explosion every day. Well, you can actually go capture it off the trees, Geeky, when they go to open up. There's a whole video from Arthur Haynes on how to capture it. But if you don't want to wait that long, yes, you could just scrape it off the car. I actually have ideas about how to get my bees to collect it, but that's a whole other thing. But if you didn't want to wait that long, if you wanted to try it, you could just order it from sirthrival.com. In fact, I can find you a link if you like. There you go. Yeah, we were cutting branches off of trees one spring that had to be trimmed anyway to get pine pollen. We weren't climbing those either. We got trees that are, 100 foot tall. I was like, there's no way I'm going up that and out on the end of that limb trying to get. But yeah, there's actually many methods for collecting it. There's a whole wild foraging genre dedicated to collecting pine pollen, believe it or not. Well, you should be ingesting it, not inhaling it, Chris. But anyway, that's something natural that might help you. It's worth a shot, I'm saying. Anyway, I gotta get back out to the greenhouse and stoke up again a bit. And, hey Steve, how are you? I was just getting ready to sign off. In the land of the pines. Well, so you're surrounded by your own medicine. Get out there and collect it next, well, we get it in May here, so you probably get it in April there, or even March. Probably March, huh? When the pollen comes off the pines. How goes it, Steve? Yeah, everybody on the stream and on the radio net tonight was tired. We're all tired. Don't know why. Such is life, eh? Glad you made it in, though. That is good, Chris. That can help a lot. And I can tell she's a good wife. I can see you guys really care about each other and interact with each other well. Nice to see some working models of relationships out there. Alright, good night everybody. Thank you for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream. Thanks for participating. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll try and catch y'all on Chris's live stream Friday night. Have a good week, everybody. Get some rest and charge up. Cheers.